Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Valentine Lister, and this is the weekly astrology and tarot forecast for Sunday, December 26th through Saturday, January 1st. In this forecast, I'm going to go over all of the transits that you need to know about this week. We got a lot of energies going on. And then at the end, I do a tarot card reading to give you guidance and advice on how to get through the week. But before I get into it, I just want to let you guys know there is only 5 days left on the super awesome discount that I'm offering on readings with me. Right now, I am offering $20 off your very first reading with me. And that's for like live Zoom readings, one-on-one readings. I offer birth chart readings and tarot card readings. And so that offer for the $20 discount is available until December 31st, 2021. Now, to take advantage of that discount, all you need to do is go to valentinelister.com, go to book your reading, and when you book, make sure to use the code 20 bucks to get $20 off your very first reading with me, with you, with us together. And so just to quickly, sometimes people want to know, what's better? Should I get a birth chart reading? What is that versus tarot card reading? So birth chart readings, it goes over your natal chart, where the stars and planets were at the time of your birth. And it talks about your fate or destiny, what you were meant to do in this life, the circumstances that you end up being in this life, and you think it's random, but it's really not, your personality, who you are. And it also goes over topics that, the stars gave testimony about your fate or destiny, as far as love, relationships, marriage, children, your career, your occupation, money, all the things that we tend to be interested in. It tells you everything, but it goes into those topics. And also in a birth chart reading, I go over transits coming up for you that would be important in letting you know where you're going, what's most likely to be happening next in your life. So then I have the tarot card readings. What is so great about a tarot card reading? Tarot card readings are better for specific questions and more specific guidance and advice, where you're like, well, what do I do? Even though a birth chart reading can answer some of those questions, a tarot card reading is going to be a little more direct in the advice and the guidance that it's giving you about a specific concern or topic. All right, guys, so get your readings booked. In any case, I'm gonna get into this week's forecast. Okay, on Sunday, December 26th, we have two events going on. We have the last quarter moon, and we have Mercury sextile Neptune. So Mercury sextile Neptune will be happening a few hours before the last quarter moon. So the Mercury sextile Neptune makes me think food coma. I'll probably be in one the day after Christmas. So maybe we'll be a little foggy from holiday activities and eating too much. Basically we have Mercury, that is the god of strategy, planning, actions we take, mischievousness, fun and games. In this harmonious aspect, we have the sextile, which represents Venus, the nature of Venus. So pleasure, beauty, harmony, friendship, the things we do for pleasure, and you can insert anything you can think of there. So in that aspect, that sextile aspect with Neptune, so a lot of times, if Mercury and Neptune get together, plans get a little foggy. You're like, what was I doing? I was going to go do something. So Mercury really gets along with any of the planets. And so Neptune is the god of sea, the god of the illusion. You could think of movies and films or anything where your reality would be altered, through a substance or something. And so it's an illusion. And so it can be really inspiring and really bring you into this beautiful fantasy, or it can be really super scary. So you can even think of Neptune as a dream, like dreamland. But with Neptune, we have to think of, it can be a beautiful influence, it could be a scary influence, but regardless, it's probably not reflecting the reality or truth. It's making us a little bit foggy, not being able to see things clearly in some way. maybe spending money in a way where like we spend it on something like that, I don't know. Like I'm thinking of like sometimes it can be a scam, but sometimes it can be like, ooh, this seems like a good idea. Maybe it is, maybe not. Maybe when you get the product, you're going to be happy or not. So like buying things but not really thinking clearly on them, or being really like foggy about our plans. So making a plan, maybe to get together with people and then forgetting about it, or falling asleep, or forgetting what you were supposed to do, can be like Mercury, Sextile, Neptune. And hey, it's okay. So we have next, like we have that like on the same day as the last quarter moon. And so a last quarter moon represents letting go of things. And so that's actually kind of cool, because with it happening on the same day as Mercury sextile Neptune, it's this aspect of being able to let go. And the moon. So sometimes I forget to like mention what the moon represents, what she represents. She represents the feminine aspects of life, things that are meaning things that are internal, hidden, reflective, being influenced by our environment and attending and nurturing and taking care of the things in our worlds, in our environment. So that could be relationships, people, it could be money, jobs, things like that. And so the moon, she's always changing all the time, which makes me think of like being a mom, right? The moon can be related to the mother. And like the change in environment can mean your thoughts and it can mean your emotions as well. And in traditional astrology, they did associate the moon a lot of times with the mind, and she was associated with the third house, which is where her joy is. She liked to socialize, and people are always in and out of her life. And she finds that fun. So she's always changing all the time. The moon is always in a different sign, like all the time, and she waxes and she wanes. And she was considered a luminary along with the sun, and she led the night sect and the sun led the day sect. She represents like this nurturing light in our life, kind of like wherever we feel nurtured in life and the things that nurture us in a very like grounded and physical way. Oh, so I'm talking kind of like the moon, going from topic to topic. I was just talking about how the moon does remind me of being a mother, because, right, I can be one way, my emotions could be one way, then my kids start crying and there's chaos around me, and it has nothing to do with me at all. But yet I start feeling upset and emotional. And then, like something else happens that's pleasurable. But when you're a mom, there's always kids like coming in and out. And like you don't even know what you're doing or who you are anymore sometimes, because you're just reacting and trying to tend to your environment versus being connected to yourself. But there is also that aspect of having that inner light, that there's this light in the soul that wants to love and nurture and care for people in the environment, care and nurture for the body, the self, the mind, and is this really nurturing energy, so the light of our life. And so it's going to be in the last quarter moon phase. And in the last quarter moon phase, like I mentioned, there is this energy and desire to let go of things. And so the moon will be in Libra, and it's being ruled by Venus, that Venus in Capricorn. And so it's kind of still a tense aspect, kind of like the first quarter moon, but a little bit different, because as the moon is waning, she's in her joy. She is okay with, we don't have to deal with things. So you don't have to make a big deal out of it. So it's giving me this idea that maybe the last quarter moon is going to be about putting our wants and desires and needs aside to create harmony in relationships, to let things go, in order to create peace, create harmony, put our grievances aside, like seeing beyond our emotions and trying to stay objective, like no matter how hard it is. And with the last quarter moon, it's hard to let go, but we have this sense of like maturity, that it's part of life and it's necessary to let go. And so we can usually deal with our emotions better during the last quarter moon. And so later on Tuesday, December 28th, we will have a lot of support also in being able to move forward in like a joyful way, because we have, oh my God, I got to get more excited about this. This is Jupiter ingress into Pisces. Thank you, Jesus. So first of all, Jupiter was in Pisces earlier this year. So if you want an idea of what like this ingress into Pisces is going to be for you, it was there May 13th through July 28th. And the feeling I had when Jupiter was in Pisces was that, oh my God, it was so beautiful. I went to the grocery store and everybody was talking to each other, and it felt like you were like talking to family. And there's also this sense of like I could honor my emotions. Like it was okay to cry, and it was okay, to deal with other people's emotions were okay. And it was okay that people aren't perfect and that they mess up and that they have problems. We're still all connected together. There's something about even in our sadness and being emotional and even like having the experience of darkness sometimes where we're all connected together was the feel of the Jupiter ingress into Pisces. And also I'm getting a little ahead of myself too. So Jupiter. Why are we so excited that Jupiter is going into Pisces? Well, Jupiter rules Pisces traditionally. I'm a traditional astrologer. And Pisces is the feminine expression of Jupiter. So when we talk about like the feminine expression, we're talking about like the aspect of Jupiter that's more reflective, more internal, more like related to the moon. So those nurturing, caretaking energies I talked about with the last quarter moon, being sensitive like to the environment, and specifically in Pisces. Pisces is a water sign, and so like just like being more in tune with the emotions, being internal, reflective. And also just going back to the Jupiter aspect, like, and Pisces, there's like hope in the dark, hope in everyday experiences, hope in our flaws. There's a lot of like empathy, and understanding of people in a very like comfortable way. And there's this sense of optimism, connection, friendship, joy, really seeing the bigger picture in life. And there's also, Jupiter is also connected to morality and the law, but the law in the bigger sense of what's right, like what's right beyond like the court system or whatever. Like just this sense of things happening for a reason and that there being a bigger reason and a bigger picture. And that's what's moral and just has to do with that. So in general, Jupiter in Pisces is going to make us feel like everything is okay. We could cry. It's like having a shoulder we can cry on. So Jupiter in Pisces is going to be there until May 10th. And then it's going to be there again from October 28th through December 20th. So about 7 months out of this year. And really, this is going to be the healing balm for us that we've needed. Not that we won't have difficulties to deal with, but this is definitely going to help us. All right. And so Wednesday, December 29th, we have two aspects coming together. We have Venus conjunct Mercury, and then Mars sextile Saturn. So that Venus conjunct Mercury is going to be coming a little bit after that Jupiter ingress into Pisces. And so I think that's just continuing on Wednesday, being able to put the puzzle pieces together. Like being able to plan like for our lives and like set solid foundations on the things that we want. And I'm thinking of plans because Mercury is related to planning things out. He's also the god of games, trickery, mischief. And also business matters, money, the markets. And he's making like a very close aspect with Venus. So they're going to be like one person. So Venus represents desire, beauty, pleasure, harmony, relationships, love, like children, fertility, watching things grow. So making plans to see things grow in a very earthy and practical and grounded way. And perhaps with that Jupiter in Pisces making a whole sign sextile, like having the optimism and enthusiasm to do this. So making like pleasurable plans or communication that's pleasurable. So I do have a few examples of like Venus with Mercury, just like, okay, my husband is into the crypto. So Bitcoin was at an all-time high when Mercury was conjunct Venus. Like I believe that was earlier this year. I listened to videos about the moon. So I love astrology, I love studying all of the planets. And so it might be just indulging in some type of like media or communication that you really enjoy and find pleasurable. So watching videos, binging on like Netflix or Hulu, whatever you watch, like binging on movies, things like that. It could also be like just pleasurable planning in an earthy way, in that like could be unconventional too, like just something that your spirit is moving you to do. So like when Venus was conjunct Mercury, I went to a foraging class. Like, what's foraging? So basically like the local like park system like had a guy who taught us like what plants are edible, like in my backyard, like in our environment here. And like that was like that was super fun, and it was like planning for the future, but it was really enjoyable being out in nature and just learning that there's actually like things that are food in our backyard. So that was like a really fun, like non-traditional way. So this, it can express itself in so many different ways. Oh, I learned that someone was pregnant too. So having like this joyful, so remember fertility, Venus represents fertility. So it could even be like something like getting good news about like, like pregnancy, fertility, like, or a relationship or money or children, like something nice like that. And then we have that Mars sextile Saturn, which makes me think like putting solid action and plans into place. So Mars is in a very harmonious Venusian type aspect with Saturn. And so Mars and Saturn, when they're getting along together, it can be super cool because we can put like our actions into solid plans and foundations. Mars and Saturn generally does well together, not always. But really making solid plans to like put things through. So even, whatever our plans are or whatever comes up for us, being able to handle it in a solid and grounded way. This also could be, like on that Wednesday, it could be like making plans, like social plans, because we have Mars in Sagittarius, which is feeling super good because it's being hosted by that Jupiter in Pisces, which is in its happy, optimistic, friendly home. And then we have Saturn in Aquarius, which is an air sign, so it can represent being social and being in groups. So maybe it could also represent like making solid plans to socialize and get together with people you love or friends or family. Okay, and then on Thursday, December 30th, we have Mercury conjunct Pluto. So continuing our plans, but having communication about like our plans, our finances, or fun and games, or something about like security, financial security, security in a home, planning. And things coming up about our plans that we need to know that was hidden. So communication about things that have been hidden could be related to bad behavior or underhanded things, kind of our fears coming up, or it could just be things that need to be taken care of in terms of our plans come up that we didn't know about. But it also could be good news as well, because Venus is still going to be close to Mercury, about 1 degree away. So like it could also be things coming up that are beautiful, that are good news, or news about the future that's hopeful. And that's because we have Mercury, the god of communication and planning and the markets and money, like I said, kind of as one with Pluto. And Pluto is the god of the underworld. And so bringing things up that are hidden, that have been buried below the earth, or buried in our minds, or just buried in our environment. And also with Pluto, sometimes you could have things related to plumbing, sewage, purging, and even things like expelling things from the body if you're not feeling well. Won't go more into that. But the moon is in Scorpio. The moon's going to be in Scorpio. So there may be this energy of like being super emotional. But with that Jupiter and Pisces trining the moon, it may be like more cathartic and something we can handle and still have hope and optimism about. Okay, and then on Saturday, January 1st, we have Sun trine Uranus. First of all, Happy New Year to you guys. Hope this year is an amazing one with that Jupiter in Pisces. That will help us to have a better year than we've had in a long time. I could use a good year. So anyway, the Sun trine Uranus. The Sun represents things being illuminated, our actions in life, the soul, like how our soul drives us forward. So events. It could be the people that we look up to for truth in some way. So whoever we look to for truth, whatever figure that is, could be a person, could be a source of media, is making a trine to Uranus. A trine is of the nature of Jupiter. So connecting things, seeing the bigger picture, the spirit of friendliness, the spirit of like poetic justice or justice in the world, like morality and law, with Uranus, who is the god of liberation, an air god of ideas. And basically when our Uranus transit comes through, we feel liberated and having a breakthrough. It's not always the most pleasant thing in the way that that breakthrough happens, but Uranus gets the job done if we want to break free from something. So basically I'm seeing this as breakthroughs in getting what we want, especially because the moon is going to be co-present with Mars. And that's always like, I want this, like, let me make a big fuss, a big deal. Let me throw a tantrum about it. And then you get what you want because people are like, oh my God, okay, fine. So we might have this energy of the soul feels free, and it might have like this earthy element with the sun in Capricorn of doing something that's like earthy, grounded, practical, that's pleasurable, comforting, and feels really good. So it may be a break from like the day-to-day rut or doldrums. Maybe a fun New Year's party, or maybe you rest, after going out for a fun party. I hope you guys went and had something fun. So like liberating events or actions, and this feeling of like fun, friendship, and togetherness that's very freeing and liberating and helps you to feel like you're having a breakthrough and that you have this sense like that your soul is free and that you feel free. And this is for next week, but I just wanted to mention it because it's going to be happening like super early in the morning. On Sunday, January 2nd, we're going to have Mercury ingress to Aquarius. And so this is making me think we have Saturn in Aquarius. So it's like a really well dignified Mercury. It's in like its ruler is co-present because traditionally Saturn rules Aquarius, traditional ruler. So we may be more objective in our thinking or our ability to plan. And like setting solid foundation. So looking at the realities of our like limitations, and finding ideas on ways to work around that and to be free, because it's an Aquarius. So maybe more free thinking, making plans in a way that defend our ideas. And yeah, so a little bit more like coming up with plans and ideas, that are, like different maybe than what everybody else is thinking. And then later that day, we'll have the new moon in Capricorn, which I will talk about next week as well. But basically that new moon is going to be like a new start to like an area of our life that represents security or pleasure. Okay, guys, time to do the reading for the week and give some advice, get some advice on how to navigate through this one. In our like hazy fog as we approach like New Year's, the end of the year, whatnot. Okay. All right. So let's see. We have the energy of the week is Judgment reversed. Interesting. So the Judgment card represents, I'm like multitasking. So Judgment represents like having things come to light, seeing things clearly. And so it's reversed. So this could mean that we're starting to have the wisdom to go internally and like shed a light on things about ourselves that we haven't been able to see before. Maybe having this feeling, this energy of being able to see things a little bit more objectively when it comes to our actions and our emotions, really looking at our emotions, looking at the like maybe the hidden aspects and the darker parts of us, and like seeing things about maybe our inner child or children is coming up. The child in this is popping out from us, like seeing maybe our inner child, like nurturing the inner child, or seeing a need to nurture that, and seeing a lot of times like the way we act in our emotions and the problems that we have is like this fearful child within us that really doesn't know what to do, really doesn't feel secure, really feels like the world is chaotic, and we're just pretending that we know what to do. And looking at the darker parts of us and recognizing that. Sometimes with this reverse, it could also be this element of like not wanting to see things because we want to create peace. So really maybe trying to brush things aside, even though things are coming up and we know that we need to deal with them. Maybe pushing them aside because like we don't want to hear about it. So the advice for the week, we have this card coming up a lot. We have the Queen of Cups reversed. So tend to our emotions, nurture our environments, our inner environments, and really relax, rest, restore, like find some time to really just enjoy yourself, like be in relaxation, like this tending to emotions, and also really like being our own nurturer. And there's also the advice of like, I think I'm getting the energy of don't look to other people to nurture us. We have the Queen of Cups reversed, that maybe there is like this mature female energy that we're looking to help us get through our emotions or guide us. And maybe that person is not there for us this week, but that we can be that person, that they can't be there for us. There's sometimes this card can mean there's someone in our environment that's a mature female figure where we need to nurture them and tend to their emotions. Maybe they're not feeling like themselves. Maybe they're usually nurturing people, or they're feeling ill or sick or not well, and really tending to that person. So the advice could be that for some of you, if you see that person. But I'm also seeing this, really the message more so is that we can't always be reaching out for that person for like groundedness, security, and healing, that there has to be this element of being able to provide that for ourselves. Then we have the final outcome for the week, and we have the Four of Pentacles reversed, which is, this represents the sun in Capricorn. Super, I love how these cards talk, because we also have the card that represents Jupiter in Pisces, which I'll get to. But the outcome of this week is really like, reflecting on the things that we need to let go of, where we can be rigid and too harsh with ourselves, too harsh with others, looking at the things that we hold on to for physical security and groundedness and trying to hold on to that, but having the wisdom to reflect on those beliefs, like those foundations, and really thinking like, do we need to hold on so tightly? Like, are our desires that important? And if we are protecting ourselves, maybe looking at it, I'm sensing with this Capricorn energy, it's like, I don't want to look at things differently. So maybe there's an element of coming out of this week, like you look at those things, but then you're thinking, I don't want to let go of them. I don't want to think differently. Like, this is the way I am. And so, the point isn't whether you like change the way you're doing things or even change the way you're thinking things, but that you really have the awareness of what you're thinking, what you're doing, and that you also don't take it for granted that it's yourself. Like, there's this element of, when I do these readings, the reason that I love tarot and astrology is that I don't feel so alone. I don't feel so crazy, but also that if I can predict what my thoughts and emotions will be, like when these transits come up, or even my physical environment, or if I can predict it with cards, how much of that is me? Like, how much of that is unique to me, right? Or is it just the animal body, like the nature that I'm a part of, and I'm being like pushed like waves in the oceans, but that there's a sense of the real me is something, is more eternal. It's like the awareness of what's happening and the person that gets to sit back and watch what's happening and have a really great time, like you're in your own movie. And so, that could be the way that we let go, is that it doesn't really matter what happens, because what's really important is that we just get to watch and experience it as a soul. All right, so looking to our minds and bodies and spirits to tend to ourselves. So there's a real need in our minds to tend to our physical bodies and attend to things that are practical and grounded and secure, but really an element of pleasure. And then also maybe there's like an investment, or like we have this idea or thought or pure intention or something that we want to ground ourselves, is the message I'm getting through, like a path we want to go to, and we have like honest, open intentions. But that path is being like blocked for us, like physically blocked. So you think like a person blocking it, like things not coming through, like contracts or money, not being able to like break a barrier in like what you want to do. Yeah, something with physical security. It could be like even buying a home, like, starting a new project, something like physically, like a physical thing you want to do, maybe job, work, could be like fertility, like with children, or, creating something, where that is like in our minds, we feel like that's blocked and we feel like we're being stalled. And so having the wisdom to be able to step back and deal with that, and just reflect on why, in our minds, reflecting on why things are going so slow. And a lot of times it's because things that last really take time. And so, we don't need to try to push through it prematurely. The universe has perfect timing, because we also have this Jupiter in Pisces card. Yes, yes. I'm so excited about the Jupiter being in Pisces. It's home sign. So this card, the Nine of Cups, is called the Wish card, Jupiter in Pisces. So our bodies, wow. Okay, so our bodies are going to feel vibrant and alive and super fertile. Yeah, so this is making me think in our bodies, we're going to feel more vibrant and alive and more joyful and like connected to our emotions. So when we think of the body, I also think of emotions, and thoughts, and just this like happy, like I'm going to be okay. And yeah, there's just really vibrancy and light and like buoyancy in the body that we're going to be feeling, and just feeling like no matter what happens, like we can physically and emotionally like handle things, having the sense that like in a physical way or in a grounded and practical way that we'll be able to push through. And then for the spirit, we have the King of Cups going on. So in our spirit, we're focused on a mature male energy who kind of marches to the beat of their own drummer. Why can't they do things the way that other people do them? Is the energy of this person, somebody with like revolutionary ideas. And so some energy of being blocked from this person or being disconnected from this person, being isolated from this person, the energy of grounding I'm seeing happening. Yeah, so like from this card, just like sensing what I'm getting. I'm not getting a lot from this. So in our spirit, like feeling disconnected from like this mature male person and having compassion for that person, maybe a fatherly figure, a spouse, boss, lover, a mentor that you looked up to, like a leader, really feeling cut off and disconnected from them in like a grounded and physical way, seeing their ship sail, seeing this like vitality being cut off in some way with them. So that's an element of that, or really feeling disconnected or like estranged from this person, and a focus on that, but having compassion for the situation, feeling more grounded and more willing to accept that situation. Okay, guys, so here are the cards for this week if you want to reflect on them a little more, you can pause the video. And so for the positions for the card, this is the general energy of the week. This is the advice for the week. This is the final outcome. And this card represents mind, this is body, and this is spirit. Hope you guys have an amazing, amazing week. And Happy New Year again. Let me know what you're up to. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for whenever I release a new video every single week.